welcome to Table for One, where four enter and one comes out the winner. So I am your host today, OJ Knows, and the reason I'm hosting is because I actually won. I kicked these guys' butts last week. So the format is whoever wins hosts the next week. We have Matt, Anthony, Jeff, and Dub Zero. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first question is going to be an NBA question, okay? Should we start to seriously consider Ja Morant as a top 10 NBA player? When I say top 10, I want to be very specific. I'm not talking about he's having a top 10 year like Cooper Kupp. What I mean is he a top 10 player? Like, is Cooper Kupp a top 10 receiver like that? Okay? So is Ja Morant a top 10 player in the NBA? Yes or no? And let me know why. Matt, we'll start with you.
So I'm going to have to go no, because of the way you worded the question. If we were talking about this year, then sure, we could say he's a top 10 player. But if he's a top 10 player overall, not just counting this 2021-2022 season, we're saying that he's better than guys like, I don't know, like Anthony Davis, who's missed some time. Kawhi Leonard hasn't played that much. For him to make it into the top 10, he has to be better than a lot of these superstars that have been superstars for 5+ years, and I love Ja Morant. I think he's an awesome player. But yes, the Grizzlies are good. Yes, they're overperforming. But I think we need to see a little bit more before we can crown him, better than the Kawhis, better than the Anthony Davises, the Lukas, like guys like that. I think we need to see it just a little bit longer. And once we see that, yeah, he definitely can become that. And this season he's been there, but we need to see it for a little bit longer. And we need to see him develop a little bit more in his half-court game. I know that he has been shooting under 30% in a half-court offense off of jump shots. If that goes up, you're going to see some more versatility from his offensive output, and then I think we can start considering him as a top 10 player in the league.
Okay. Anthony, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with that or do you disagree?
No, you know what? I agree. I love Ja Morant. He's actually my favorite player to watch in the NBA right now. However, if we're talking like the question that you're asking, again, this season, yeah, I'd put him into my top 10 because guys like, honestly, Harden, Anthony Davis, Kawhi's injured, Dame, depending on your top 10, he's playing, I think, better than them. However, it's too early. It's like when people try to put Patrick Mahomes in their top 5 all time. It's too soon. So I still want to see more from him. But if I'm projecting out, yeah, he's going to be a top 10 player in this league if he stays healthy, because he has all the tools. He's dynamic. He can shoot. He can pass. He can defend. I don't know if you saw that block he had the other day. 2 hands went up and pulled it off the top of the backboard. It was just something you're going to see in the highlights forever. So, yeah, he definitely is top 10 talent, but he has to do it for a longer period of time for me to put him into the top 10.
So, by the way, I absolutely love pettiness. So just off the strength of that little shot you took at Dub Zero with the whole top 5, you're automatically moving on to the next one. Jeff.
All right. Good job, Anthony. You slighted Dub real nice. With the list of guys that are in the league, the superstars, the Kevin Durant's, the James Hardens, no, he's not a top 10 player. What he's done this year is taken the step that a guy like Jason Tatum just hasn't. In fact, I think he's supplemented Jason Tatum in that conversation. Now, you think the next guy he's got to have his eyes on is Luka. Is he on Luka's level this season? Yes, he is. And Luka may have taken a slight step backwards. And I always look at how the team is operating, and he's the best player on a very good Grizzlies team right now. So he's taken that step. It's very impressive. You can't say today he's top 10, but he's got nowhere to go but up. Dude is 22 years old and 11th in scoring, 14th in assists. He's doing everything for that team and got nowhere to go but up.
Dub Zero, close us out. What are your thoughts?
The answer is hell no, especially if everybody is healthy. Fluent said that he could score, he could rebound, he could defend, he could assist. But guess what? He's not one of the best scorers in the league. He's not one of the best playmakers in the league. He's not one of the best defenders of the league. And I'm not trying to slight Ja Morant. Ja Morant is great. I love what I see from Ja Morant. But let's also remember that when he left, when he got hurt, they were, I believe, 14-12 or around that range. They went on a crazy run after he left. And then when Ja Morant came back, he continued that success. So how much credit do we really need to give Ja Morant for the level of success that they have compared to and not look at the talent that is surrounded by him. So we also have to keep that in mind. And especially if everybody is healthy, bro, John Morant's not top 10, and it's not even a question. It's really not. I'm sorry. I know a lot
They're
of
on a
guys like
10-game winning streak.
They're on a 10-game. He's
Okay.
continued that level of success.
They
He
beat
has
the Lakers and the
continued that.
Warriors
He's
just
been
like did they
playing
not?
on the 10-game winning streak right now.
So
I agree.
Anthony's definitely moving on. Jeff, I really love what you mentioned about Jason Tatum, and that what Ja is doing is what Tatum should have been doing. That is an excellent. I really love that. To me, that was the best point out of what everybody said. So you're definitely moving on. So we do have a little tiebreaker between Dub Zero and Matt, and so it's gonna be a buy or sell, and so we're gonna keep it in the NBA. And so try to be concise with your answer. Klay Thompson. He scored 17 points. I believe last week was his first game. He came back. Warriors were first or second place in the West before Klay Thompson. They were very good, moved the ball around very good. Now that they have Klay, now let's assume that Klay's healthy at least 80%, okay? Does Klay Thompson's addition in the lineup make the Warriors a finals favorite now? We'll actually we'll go with Matt first.
I think definitely. I mean, this team is barely in the 2 seed right now, and you're adding a guy like Klay Thompson. Now, I think the big question is he going to be the Klay Thompson that we've seen in the past? I mean, we haven't before. Was it 2 days ago? Yesterday? I forget. A couple days ago, the most recent game that he came back on. We hadn't seen him play since before COVID. So there's a lot of questions about Klay. But if we're going to expect that he's going to come back and by playoff time, he's ready to go, he's normal Klay Thompson, yeah, 100%. I mean, we've seen how nasty Steph and Klay are together, and you have another great team in Golden State. I definitely think that they're the favorites right now.
Okay. Sub-Zero, what do you think?
I'm going to go against the grain. A lot of people just sleep on the Phoenix Suns, bro. To say that the Warriors are definitely in contention, but to completely write off the Phoenix Suns is completely disrespectful. We have to keep in mind that even though that they went to the finals when everybody was hurt, they got that experience in. And their first, think about it, that whole team as a unit, it was their first time going to the playoffs. They made it to the finals. That experience matters. You could carry that to years to come. The Phoenix Suns right now look like a better version than themselves from last year. Bridges playing better. Ayton playing better. Booker looks like he's playing better. And CP3, we already know who CP3 is. He's that guy. So to completely write off the Suns and completely forget about them and just put the Warriors on this pedestal is pretty disrespectful, considering the fact that we don't even know what Klay Thompson is going to bring right now. We know what he's done in the past, but we don't know what's going to happen now.
I wish you guys have brought up the fact of not just answering why the Warriors should be the favorites, but why we should consider them better than the Nets. And neither of you guys brought up the Nets. Matt, you're going to move on for the simple fact that I don't believe in Phoenix. And I would have liked it better if you said, no, I don't think they're the favorites. I still think the Nets are the favorites. So from a philosophical standpoint, Dub, you're going to unfortunately not be able to make the second round. And then we're going to move on straight with our second round question. I am so excited, man, for NFL Wildcard Weekend. I'm sure you guys are as well. All right, so we all know the matchups. So I'm going to get right to it. Which NFL game is the most intriguing to you and why? Keyword, why? So we're going to work our way backwards this time. Jeff, you go first, then Anthony, then Matt.
Okay, this is to me. So the Niners-Cowboy matchup, baby. That's what I'm talking about. And one of the first things we talked about when we got this show going was how disappointing the Cowboys are going to be in the playoffs, because I said the Cowboys are the Cowboys, and now my Niners get to be the spoilers because the Cowboys have shown brilliant flashes throughout the year. They've looked amazing. Dak could be that guy, or maybe next week he couldn't be that guy. He's a roller coaster. But give me the Niners and Cowboys. I'm excited about that. And let me say this about Deebo Samuel. Niners got a real playmaker on offense. And I've got this comparison to throw out there. It may get me to the next round or not. But he is the wide receiver version of Alvin Kamara.
Interesting.
Okay.
Anthony.
So listen, for the first time, I'm really excited about quite a few, but there's 2 3-6 matchups, Dallas, San Francisco, New England, and Buffalo. I think those ones are intriguing because I think in both cases, the 6 seed can beat the 3 seed. But if I have to pick one, I'm going to pick the one that I think is going to be the best game. And that's going to be the Rams and the Cardinals. Because here are two teams that were both kind of favorites to win their division. Both were supposed to go deep into the playoffs. And one of them isn't going to make it out of the wild card. You've got an upstart quarterback versus a veteran quarterback. You've got a strong defense versus a good defense. You got a lot of offensive weapons. I know we're missing DeAndre Hopkins, but you're going to see AJ Green, James Conner, Zach Ertz, OBJ. What is he going to be like in the playoffs? There's so many exciting, dynamic players on both sides of Von Miller, Aaron Donald. There's literally Jalen Ramsey. The list goes on and on about how many. Kyler Murray going to be in the playoffs. What is he going to do? Is he going to set a tone of being a winner in the playoffs? Is he going to disappoint us and be like, oh, it's too bad he's so good in the regular season, but that didn't translate into the playoffs? So there's so many interesting matchups, so many dynamic players that regardless of the game, that's the one you're going to watch and be excited to watch because you're going to see something special in that game. So I think that's the one that is the most intriguing to me.
Matt?
So I do think that it's kind of obvious, and I think it's definitely the 49ers Cowboys. I'm not going to bring it up because I feel like historically that's the game everyone's going to be locked into. That's the biggest fan bases. That's the biggest game. But for me, the game that I'm most excited for, if we take away the fact that I'm a Niners fan, is definitely the Bills and the Patriots. Because you got Josh Allen against Bill Belichick in the playoffs. And I don't remember, OJ, if you're a big Josh Allen guy, but I personally, he's not one of my favorite players in the league. However, this year, he's objectively been a top 5 quarterback in the league if you're looking at the numbers. And he took a step back from last year's numbers, but he's still been great. However, there's still the big questions. Can he go and can he play in January and February? Is he able to go into those harsh weather conditions? I saw Mina Kimes tweeted today and basically said, the best thing that Buffalo could do for Josh Allen is to put a dome on their stadium. Because the big question is he can't throw in the wind. He can't throw in the cold. He can't throw in the snow. Well, it's going to be under negative. It's going to be under zero. It's going to be a negative temperature when you're counting in wind chill, and it's going to be like over 10 miles an hour of wind. So we're going to have to see a very, very gritty performance by a guy who a lot of people have decided to count out at quarterback, even though he's had a tremendous season. So I think Josh Allen versus that Patriots defense, we got the sneak peek. I think it was either Monday night earlier this year where you saw that really, really ugly football game. That's my favorite type of football. And we're going to see either way, either the Patriots win or the Bills win, but whoever wins it is going to have an extremely gritty performance on Saturday, Sunday, whenever they play. So I'm pumped for the Bills-Patriots game.
Man, I really wanted to do a tie between Anthony and Jeff, man. But the more I think about it, the points that you guys made in the way that you guys fleshed them out. First of all, to me, I think it's Rams and Niners. But Matt, the way that you brought in the Pats and Bills and how you basically also spoke about the legacy of Josh Allen. I really love that point. And then for those reasons, I'm going to have you and Anthony move on to the final round. So good job on that one. Guys, we are at the last question, which is my favorite question. As you know, Black Monday, we saw a bunch of NFL head coaches lose their jobs. So now we have a total of 7 NFL coaches, 7 NFL teams that currently don't have a coach, right? So we have the Vikings, Giants, Dolphins, Broncos, Bears, Jags, and Raiders. So which of these 7 teams is the most desirable coaching destination? In other words, if you're an NFL coaching prospect, which one would you desire to go the most? We'll start with you, Matt.
So one thing is I think a lot of it depends on who are you as a coach. Are you Brian Flores? Are you a guy that can build up that defense that needs a superstar quarterback that we kind of saw him miss out with, taking Tua over Herbert when he was in Miami? Or are you a guy that's an offensive guy like Kellen Moore, right? Are you a guy that needs a good defense and you can go find that quarterback and you can develop him? I think that's a big question. But when we're looking at it, I would say that in terms of an organization, in terms of talent, the Broncos are definitely the best spot. However, they don't have a quarterback. They have Teddy, they have Drew Lock. Now they have a lot of money. Aaron Rodgers is a free agent, right? So maybe that plays a role. But if we're talking about who has the most talent at the quarterback position, then we're going, okay, we got the Bears, they got Justin Fields, we got the Jaguars. Problem is, neither of those organizations are very great. So I'm going to have to side with the Broncos because, one, they have an absolutely stacked defense. They have the best secondary in the league. Now, they have been abysmal at the quarterback position. But if you're a head coach and you believe that you can go in there and you can fix the quarterback spot, then you have to go with the Broncos because everything else is there. They have the money. They have the, I don't know, they're not the Jags. They're not all over the place. People aren't wearing clown masks to the game. They have a diehard fan base. And overall, as an organization, they're the very best. And they have the best roster out of everyone here. And I don't think it's really that close.
Nice. Curious to see if Anthony's going to go with the homer pick. And if you do, you may or may not get a point deducted. So, Anthony, what are your thoughts?
So let's do process of elimination. Okay. First of all, it's not the Jags. The Jags are really, really early in the rebuilding stage. We don't know what we have in Trevor Lawrence. So I eliminate the Jags right off the bat. The New York Giants. I believe it's their fourth coach in 5 years. There's turmoil there. You don't know what you have in Daniel Jones. The roster's a mess, so you don't want to go there. I'm gonna go to the Bears. My Bears. I love my Bears, but you don't know what you have in Justin Fields. The defense is starting to the pieces are starting to become free agents. A couple of them are going to leave this offseason. Allen Robinson probably is going to be gone this offseason. So again, that's a rebuild with what's going to be a second-year quarterback. So unfortunately, it's not the Bears. Miami Dolphins, yes, you have Tua, but I don't think he's a franchise elite quarterback that can take you to a Super Bowl. The Raiders are on the list, and they're in the playoffs, you would think, but they have an interim coach. I don't think that's actually going to be a vacancy. So it really comes down to two teams, in my opinion, and it's, as Matt said, the Denver Broncos or the Minnesota Vikings.
Broncos.
Here's the thing. Yeah, the Denver Broncos, let me say that again, or the Minnesota Vikings. So here's the thing with Denver. The one thing they're missing, he's right, the roster's great, but they're missing the most important position. So as the roster is constructed today, you don't have a quarterback. Now, if Aaron Rodgers or someone of that nature goes there, that would be the job. But you're also going through an ownership change. Is the new owner going to come in and clean house? Is he going to get rid of that great roster? Is he going to bring in a different general manager? Is John Elway still going to be part of the organization? There's too many question marks. So now it leaves us with Minnesota. What does Minnesota have? They have a good, not great, but a good quarterback who can take you to the playoffs. He could be your gap quarterback. Kirk Cousins is good. It's not great, but he's good. He's serviceable. But he could be your gap quarterback while you bring in a rookie and develop him. But what you do have in Minnesota is a very good defense, one of the best wide receivers in the league in Justin Jefferson, one of the best running backs in the league when healthy in Dalvin Cook, a really good backup in Madison, a good tight end in Conklin, a good offensive line. That's the team. And you're in a division that has the Bears, who aren't a playoff team, the Lions, who aren't going to be very good. If Aaron Rodgers does leave, a Packer team that isn't very good, you can take that division very easily by tweaking that roster a little bit. Don't forget, they didn't make the playoffs the last 2 seasons, but they were in the playoffs every other season with Zimmerman. They're the easiest fix, and they have the most talent at the skill position. So that's the one that's the best job short term.
So it's interesting, right? This is an interesting dynamic. So because I made a TikTok for this earlier today, and the way I answered it, I actually had the Vikings because I think they're so talented. But I actually like the Broncos because the Broncos, if you combine organizational stability plus talent, it's Broncos hands down. And I think Matt really hit that nail. So that
unless the ownership comes in, and because don't forget, you don't even have an owner. That could change things drastically.
You don't, but they are such a stable organization. They've been so stable, man. And I think I'm gonna give them the benefit of that. With that being said,
except the quarterback,
gonna go into a tiebreaker, and this is actually going to be interesting, and I'm deciding to do this now. Instead of asking the buy or sell, I'm actually going to combine the last 2 buy or sell. So this is the question for you guys. What is more likely to happen, that the Patriots can make it to the AFC Championship game, or that Aaron Rodgers can actually get over the NFC Championship hump and make it to the Super Bowl? Which scenario is more likely? Anthony, I'll go right back to you so you don't have too much time to think. And then Matt will actually, no, we'll go to Matt because we'll go to Matt first. Go ahead.
So the Patriots to make it, or to Rodgers make it to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Like championship game and then Super Bowl. So staggering.
He doesn't have to win it. He just has to get to the Super Bowl. And same for the Patriots. They don't have to win it. They just have to get to the AFC Championship.
I mean, I'm probably going to go with the Patriots. Now, I don't think it's going to happen, but we
And
see
by
what
the way,
happens.
Dub and Jeff, we're gonna grade them on this question. Go ahead. Sorry.
When we're looking at like the AFC landscape, the Patriots can make it to the AFC Championship game. Then they'll meet the Chiefs, and then they'll lose to the Chiefs, so they'll lose to whoever's there, right? But if the 49ers win this week, then you gotta look at this Packers team and remember what happens every single time that Aaron Rodgers has played the 49ers in a meaningful game. What happens? They suffocate the Packers with their run game, and it's not about Aaron Rodgers. It's not about Devontae Adams, and they struggle badly. They do this against them. They will do this against Tampa if that happens. I do not have faith that the Packers are going to make it to the Super Bowl. If they run into the Bucks or they run into the 49ers, they will lose those games. And I know the 49ers sound kind of weird. They did beat the 49ers earlier this season. I guarantee you that you will see Rodgers sitting on the sideline as the 49ers grind out run after run after run in a freezing cold game in Lambeau where Rodgers has no control over him losing yet another playoff game. So I don't think there's a chance that the Packers make it to the Super Bowl.
Great answer. And I wonder if the approach he took was a chess move, knowing how everybody knows how he feels about Aaron Rodgers in championship games. So it's going to be interesting to see how he answers and how he pivots, knowing that you've done such a great job with saying that the Pats are more likely to make it to the AFC Championship game. Anthony, the floor is yours.
Well, let's be clear. He actually didn't tell us why the Patriots are going to make there. He just told you why the Packers won't. And he's right. All your points are correct. The Packers actually have a tougher road because they're going to have to play, depending on matchups, it's either going to be Los Angeles, Arizona, or San Francisco, because I don't think the Eagles are beating Tampa Bay. And then in the next round, they're going to play a Tampa Bay or a Rams-Arizona team, most likely Tampa Bay. They're not getting through that gauntlet because we know what Aaron Rodgers does in NFC Championship games, and that's lose. But if you look at the Patriots now, they actually have, look, nothing's easy in the NFL, but they actually have the easier road because they have to beat a Bills team, which is a division team who they've beaten this season and lost to, but they know the Bills team. Bill Belichick rarely loses 2 in a row to the same team. So I think he's got a good chance of beating the Bills. Once he does that, they have Tennessee. Now, is Derrick Henry back? Is he healthy? Will they be the team? We know Bill Belichick can stop what you do best. So if Derrick Henry's back, they're stopping Derrick Henry, or at least slowing him down. No one stops him. And then you got to rely on Ryan Tannehill. Well, I would love to my chances with the Bills and the Titans versus any of those matchups I have to face in terms of the 49ers, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Bucks in the NFC. And that's why the Patriots are going to make it for sure, is because they have the easier road. They also have the best coach still in these playoffs. And when it comes to matchups, he's the one that always takes advantage of matchups. So I put my faith in Bill Belichick and the Patriots.
So this is how we're going to do this. It's going to be very interesting. Your fate is actually going to be at the hands of Jeff and Dub. Just tell me, who do you think made the better points? And if there's a tie, in my mind, I already know who I'm going to go with, and I'll be the tiebreaker. If you guys both go with the same person, then I won't even be necessary.
I think we are going to go with the same. Go ahead, Jeff.
What'd you say?
I said I think we are going to go with the same. I want to hear Jeff say who won first.
All right. Good job, fellas. It's too bad one of you wasn't better because you guys really are neck and neck. So I got to go with Matt.
I'm going with Matt as well.
You finished strong, Matt. He finished his point strong. It started off slow and shaky, but it came around. And
there's no inconsistency. It said bad start right there. I can read it.
But this is where
he also says
strategy comes in. This is where strategy comes into play because he articulated himself so well for that point. It was hard. Like you'd have to either go above and beyond what he said or just kind of pivot, which I thought you would have done. So that being said, Matt, congratulations. Every time you're in the finals with Anthony, it's like you.
Yeah, I feel like it's a conspiracy against me. And, I held back from saying the only reason you won last week, OJ, was because I was the host. I was saving it. I didn't want to get in your bad side. But you know what? I'll say it now. I'll say it right now.
I'm not going to take up the time. But 30 seconds, Matt, let us know how you feel.
All right. So I'm going to be talking about the Niners right now. So I am pumped for this matchup this weekend. One, because, of course, 49ers Cowboys, it doesn't really get better than that. But we're looking at this game, and I think we have a chance to see the 49ers absolutely impose their will on the Dallas Cowboys. I think we might have a pretty soft defense with the Cowboys. I know they make plays. I know they're, the top scoring defense in the league, but I think the Niners are going to run the ball down their throat, and I think it's going to get ugly in Dallas, and I am all for it. So I am super pumped for this weekend. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, all those guys are great on Dallas's offense, but I just find it tough for them to match the physicality that San Francisco is going to bring. So
That's
super
the
pumped for
number
that
one
game.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. The number one run zone deep. I don't know if you guys know, but the 49ers ran the ball, I believe, 10 straight times against the Rams. Like 10, and that was a scoring drive. Like literally, we're gonna run. We're gonna run. Good luck stopping it. And the Cowboys, they don't have a vaunted, run defense or anything.
OJ, do you remember how they scored on that drive?
What was that?
Do you remember how they scored on that drive?
No, I actually don't recall.
It was the Debo pass.
It was Debo, wasn't it? Yeah, I figured it was. Yeah, man. I cannot wait, man, because so many of them this year is different. Michael. No, it's not. It's not different. So we'll see. And obviously, like Kyle Shanahan, he runs circles around Mike McCarthy. So, but
Dan Quinn.
To me, that game is gonna be. I'm gonna be tuned in the most for that game. But I also think, man, it's just gonna be great. Cards and Rams, that could go either. I would not bet on that game, bro.
Bro, it's the Rams. I don't know what else to tell you, bro. It's the Rams, and that's the easiest.
I actually have the Cards winning that game. I have the Cards,
and you're gonna lose money, bro.
I have the Cards beating the Rams, and I have the Cards beating the Bucks in the divisional round. And then
the Cards.
I have the Cards beating the Bucks, and then I have Packers beating the Cards in the chip game.
Yo, you realize
you guys have to understand something. As a Bucks fan, you see, I'm the opposite of bias fans. As a Bucks fan, like when I look at the weaknesses, they're heightened for me. Whereas people that are not fans, they don't see the weaknesses as glaring as I do. The Bucks, man, we are nowhere near as good as we were last year, man.
Absolutely.
And the injuries and everything like that. And Tom Brady, I hate, you don't know, man. Like he was horrible against the Saints and some. So all it takes is him having a bad game. Whereas the 49ers, if Garoppolo has a bad game, they can actually win. Some of these teams, if their quarterbacks have a bad game, but Tom Brady, man, the Bucks goes as he goes, man, because we don't have a running game like that. Like we are so reliant on him. So I hope I'm wrong with the Cardinals, and I might switch it up, seeing how they come against the Rams. But yeah,
you heard last show. I told Fluent 3 weeks ago. I said the Cardinals are going to start when D-Hop got hurt. They were going to start crashing down, and they went 1-2 within that time period. And honestly, and then you have to also account that the team, the league is also still figuring out what was making that offense so special. So now you got D-Hop not there, making it worse for you. So it's like, it's just a combination, bro. They're just not going to beat the Rams.
By the way, the Cardinals beat the Rams, I think, week 3 by 17 points. And D-Hop's numbers were like 4 receptions, 60-some yards.
But D-Hop
so
on that don't mean
no.
That don't mean nothing. Just his presence.
No, I'm just saying because you're bringing up D-Hop. They don't need him to win. The one thing you could say, man, is the fact that I think Cam Akers or the running back is coming back, so that's gonna be big. But they just signed Eric Weddle. He's gonna get torched, man.
Oh yeah. But bro, they don't need D-Hop there. They don't need D-Hop there to do anything but just be that presence. His presence, his impact there, just being there makes a difference. It really does.
Who do you have winning that game? Do you think the Rams are going to beat him?
I think the Rams.
Yeah, he's right. He's all on the Rams. He thinks his boy Matthew Stafford.
No, I don't think. I think Okay, Anthony, I think you think I'm a little higher than I am on Matthew Stafford. But the Cardinals are 2-6 in their last 8, and most of those are with Kyler. December, like late season, Cliff Kingsbury is awful. He might be the worst December coach in the league. So I don't know.
Is it Cliff or is it Kyler's injuries sort of like culminating towards the end of the season?
I think it's both. I think it's both, but I think they get out schemed like so bad. Because like last year, they had like 3 games that they had to win. They had to beat the Niners with no one, with CJ Beathard starting, and they put up like 10 points. It was an awful game. Like, and they choked that season away last year. They should have made the playoffs like in the second week of December, and they like lost out. And then they did the same thing this year. They started like 10-1, and they won
They
like
went
11, they won
crazy.
like 12
Yeah,
games.
that's why actually, man, I defer to your opinion because obviously your 49ers is in their same division. Jeff, who do you have winning that game out of curiosity?
Shoot, I think Matt just sold me for sure. I mean, I was kind of thinking to be more competitive, but you know what? The Cards really are not playing their best football right now. So, and you know what? I think Stafford and the Rams, it's just been waiting to happen. So, I think he'll at least get out of the first round. That team's loaded with veteran talent, guys who have been out of the first round.
Yes, sir.
It will be a massive. It just sucks they have to face each other, man. Because either way, it's gonna be a massive disappointment. Whichever team loses, if the 49ers lose to the Cowboys, I don't know that that's like a massive disappointment. I think they're the underdog, but the Rams and Cardinals, like whichever one loses, man, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. That's why I said it's going to be a shame that one of those guys is out in the first round. Like, no offense, I know two of you are Niners fans, but they didn't really set the world on fire getting into the playoffs. So they were really inconsistent, right? So them to lose, yeah, okay, I could see them losing. Cardinals and Rams, if you look at their season holistically, I know they didn't finish strong. They've both been good as a whole for the season. And I still think Matthew Stafford's going to throw a game-losing pick six. So we'll see.
Have you guys?
He has it in his bag.
Have you guys paid attention to what's been happening with Cardinals in the last few weeks?
Well, that's what I said. I know they didn't finish strong, but I said over the season they've still been a really good team.
What about the Rams?
Yeah, I said both teams have been really good and consistent. And I said it's a shame that either one of them has to be out in the first round.
The biggest reason I have the Cards beating the Rams is at the end of the day, I trust Kyler more than Matthew Stafford, man. That's really what it comes down to. Matthew Stafford, man. I cannot trust him, man. And I don't know. That's really what it comes down to for me, Matt.
We're gonna see Matty Ice is gonna light up the field that day.
Don't go around betting people 300, man, for that game.
Oh, I'm betting 300.
I would bet heavy on Rams.
I'm betting 300
I don't even think the Rams are that good. I think the Cardinals
are just trash. They're just trash.
Trash is hyperbole.
Right now, I think that
hold on, let me ask you.
Probably the only team that's worse.
The fact that it's a division game, though, you have to at least give the Cardinals it's not the same game. It's a division game. It's gonna be completely different. That's the thing. Because they manhandled the Rams, man, the first week. I know the Rams beat them and got get back, but I don't think it's the Rams in a vacuum versus the Cardinals in a vacuum. I think it's a divisional game, and yeah, it's.
If Matt Stafford can't get out of the first round, is he the Tracy McGrady of quarterbacks?
Absolutely.
No, he's just what he is, another Andy Dalton.
Didn't T-Mac get out of the first round and with the Rockets? They didn't go to
the round.
Yes, he did. He did when he was on the bench. When he was on the bench.
No, with the Spurs, not the Rockets.
Oh, was it the Spurs? I thought it was the Rockets too.
He went to the finals with the Spurs.
Wait a minute. You guys mean to tell me that T-Mac never got past the first round with Yao Ming and with
I'm not sure.
all those guys that he had, Luis Scola?
Are you sure?
Never. It's a fact. Take it to the bank.
Didn't they have Ron Artest